welcome to another edition of the Sports War. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
We are back. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Port. It's Barnes, it's Michael, it's Renee, it's Monday. It's a beautiful day, and it feels like it's summer. Michael, how the hell are you?
Dude, I think the last time we were together, it was feeling like summer also. Remember? It was like...
Yes, Friday. Yeah, it was the best day of the year so far. So,
did you know that Renee told me this? Was it yesterday, Renee, that at 11:33, it's now officially, Barnes. Are you ready?
It's start of
spring, baby. Let's go, bro.
As we inch closer to summer, so much to talk about, but we have to start with 2 bits of breaking news, Michael, if you would.
I would. Oh, that's not the right one.
The Atlanta Falcons have traded quarterback Matt Ryan to the Indianapolis Colts for a 2022 third-round pick. Matty Ice, leaving Atlanta for Indianapolis.
I told you.
Reaction, do you love it?
Do you know what's happening?
What's happening?
Actually, I just remembered that Deshaun went to Cleveland.
Oh,
dude, we never even got to talk about that.
We never got to talk about that. So,
dude, Well, I thought he was going to Atlanta.
I honestly did too, but he got $240 million guaranteed. Why $45 million a year? Why, you know what I mean? And they put his salary as $1 million. All the rest is a bonus. So if he gets suspended for 8 games, 10 games, doesn't matter. He gets paid the same amount of money. So obviously huge for them. Baker, who knows where he's going to go. The Colts were a landing spot. Now that Matt Ryan goes there, it'll be interesting to see that. Does Atlanta try to get Baker Mayfield? That would be kind of interesting, honestly. Just to see kind of how they're going to fill that gap. But I do think instantly the Browns become Super Bowl contenders with that defense, with that running game. That's huge. And I think at 27 years old, it won't matter that Deshaun Watson hasn't played a game in over a year. I think whenever he comes back, he's going to come back firing. So a huge get for the AFC.
It's going to be crazy.
For the Browns. The AFC, I mean, this is the most loaded AFC we've ever seen ever.
Good. You know why?
Because the Jets are coming and they're going to be at the top of it, and that winning will be even sweeter.
And everyone is going to dog us. They're going to say this, that, and the third, and watch. We're going to come out slinging and winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we called it first, Barnes.
We did.
That's why I wanted this to be an emphasis, because we've been calling it.
Right on top of it.
Dude, Joe Douglas.
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. The signings, the offensive linemen, the
see what happens with the draft to close it out, but it could be an A+ free offseason.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Zach Wilson. I mean, it's all going to be right in front of him, and I can't wait to see what the final roster looks like. But the NFL is just churning along here. And it's interesting, too. I can't wait to see what Matt Ryan does in Indianapolis, because I think a lot of people have felt like just because of the lack of talent around him in Atlanta that he's finished. I don't think he's really finished. I think with a good offensive line, we know how good Jonathan Taylor is. He's got Michael Pittman. I mean, I think he's going to have a lot of success in Indianapolis. You know, they missed the playoffs last year after losing to Jacksonville in that last game with Carson Wentz. I think, Matt Ryan brings a level of respect, a level of maturity, a level of stabilization at the quarterback position after having, I believe, 5 different quarterbacks the last 5 years after Andrew Luck retired. So a big get for the Indianapolis Colts here, and I think a good move for Atlanta. They're definitely, obviously, in the middle of a rebuild here after missing out on Deshaun Watson. But the NFL, I mean, let's go. Draft almost a month away. Michael, I'm curious to know if you know this name. Did you hear about the passing of John Clayton over the weekend, the former ESPN NFL reporter? Do you remember him?
Yeah.
That rock commercial that he used to have, This is Sports Center. You remember him?
Of course.
Sean Salisbury,
Yeah,
4 downs.
of course.
Yeah, so sad. And they said just a brief struggle with an illness, 67 years old. So RIP to John Clayton. I guess he had been working for the Seattle Seahawks. He moved out to Washington, but just a class guy, and all the people all over sports media, especially in the NFL circles, have been giving their condolences. Chris Mortensen, Mel Kiper, they were talking about him, just that he was really one of the founding fathers of this NFL 24/7 media coverage. So RIP to him, definitely a bit of sad news for sure. And then I just wanted to get to our other piece of breaking news, if you would, Michael. A guy we've talked about, me and Tony, back and forth here. Marc-Andre Fleury has been traded to the Minnesota Wild for a conditional second-round pick. And based on how far the Minnesota Wild go, so he goes from the Blackhawks to the Wild.
Wow, you've been talking about it.
It could be a first-round pick, and I think that's a big move for them. Former Ranger Cam Talbot has been struggling. And it's funny because all this time we thought he was going to Edmonton, but he goes to Minnesota, and I think that's a great move for them in a competitive Western Conference. So definitely interesting to see that. And yet, Michael, we still have news to catch up with over the weekend in the world of baseball. We had 2 major signings as Trevor Story, 6 years, $140 million to the Red Sox. They could have him. You look at the splits away from Colorado, different player. And then Carlos Correa, the cheater himself. He doesn't go to the Mets, doesn't go to the Yankees. He goes to the Minnesota Twins. 3-year deal with an opt-out after the first year, $35.3 million per year, the highest paid infielder in the major leagues. And a lot of people on Twitter, Yankee fans, bitching and moaning about how they didn't get him. You know what? We don't need a guy like that. And besides that, as annoying as it is because we missed out on Freeman, the fact that it's all in with Volpe, it's all in with Peraza, it's all in with the youth. This is what we wanted all these years. Everybody's complaining about it. We don't develop anybody. Now that they're going full in on it, no one likes it.
I know.
So, listen, I get it because technically we got Donaldson, $25 million, allowed them to sign him. But like I said, Volpe's going to be ready in a year. You don't need Correa. You don't need his attitude. You don't need the loser mentality. I think it's fine. And the Yankees, Severino made his spring debut. It was actually the home opener down at Legends Field, or George Steinbrenner Field, as it's now referred to, down in Tampa. And they're actually in action as we speak, up 4-0 on the Philadelphia Phillies. So they're looking for their first win of the spring after 2 losses in a tie. And Jamison Tyone actually went 2 scoreless innings to start, 1 hit, 1 K. And Nestor Cortez, 2 innings, 2 Ks, following him up. So a welcome sign to see. And then on the offensive side of things, we had a 2-run RBI double for Giancarlo Stanton. And then we also had a double by DJ LeMahieu. So nice to see those guys get in the mix. And Anthony Volpe, the touted shortstop, did play yesterday. And now they have the other touted shortstop, Oswaldo Peraza, in the lineup for today. 0 for 2 so far. Good to see him in action. And it's good that we're just so close to the start of the baseball season. I actually have my first of usually I go 2 baseball leagues, but I'm going 3 fantasy baseball leagues this year. First drafts tonight, Michael. Number 1 overall pick. I asked Tony what his thoughts are. Still waiting back to see who he thinks I should go with. But thinking Juan Soto, he's a guy, home run derby, he's a popular choice there, the lefty bat. But I do also, it's a keeper league, so I also have Aaron Judge locked in. So obviously I'm pumped about that. So nice to get underway in the fantasy season and in the semifinals for fantasy basketball. First time ever. So riled about that. Going for that first prize trophy.
What is the reward for the first? How much?
$1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, big payout. 12-person league. So nice to get to the finals. And I mean, what a sweet prize that would be for sure. We'll keep an eye out for it, of course. So I mean, that's really what transpired over the weekend. Other than March Madness, we saw UConn bite the dust. Obviously, that was tough, but Providence moves on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I saw that.
First Sweet 16.
St. Peter's.
We have St. Peter's from New Jersey as well in the Sweet 16, but Providence's first Sweet 16 in 25 years. So hats off to Ed Cooley, all the players there, doubted all year. And sure, you want to say they played South Dakota State, they played Richmond to start the tournament. I understand that, but the fact of the matter is you're in the Sweet 16, you're going up against a Goliath in Kansas, and if they were to defeat them on Friday, go to an Elite Eight over the weekend, I mean, that's just history in the making. I can't wait to watch. And then something that we called, obviously, our bracket bit the dust because of UConn, Michigan.
I know.
The Sweet 16.
I know.
And what did you make of Howard hugging the Tennessee player?
What a great guy.
No, in all seriousness, where are you with Howard? Honestly,
dude. I mean, we supported him when that whole incident happened. I mean, we called him going on a run. We literally check the tapes. We said they're gonna use this and they're gonna go on a run.
Yeah, no, you couldn't be more right. And then just the fact that they have 14 losses during the regular season, barely getting the tournament, and here they are facing off against Villanova on Thursday. So just to kind of give a quick rundown of who we got left in the tournament. Nice to see actually Coach K narrowly survives yesterday against Michigan State. So they're in the Sweet 16. His, illustrious career here continues. So these are the Thursday games for Sweet 16. So Thursday, Friday split. We got Arkansas versus Gonzaga. That'll be a great game. Michigan, Villanova, another great game. I believe that was the championship game a couple years ago. Duke versus Texas Tech. And then Arizona survives OT yesterday against TCU. They're going to face Houston. And then the Friday slate, I mentioned, of course, that Providence is going to be playing Kansas. St. Peter's, the 15th seed, the first one to reach the Sweet 16 since the original Lob City team. Florida Gulf Coast. So they're going to be 15 versus 3 against Purdue. The next game, obviously, Providence at Kansas, 4 versus 1. And then UNC defeats Baylor, a big upset over the weekend. They're going to face off against UCLA, the two blue bloods. And then we get a matchup in 11 versus a 10, Iowa State versus the U in Miami. Really surprised to see that one. So, I mean, it's just a crazy sports time, Michael, firing on all cylinders. But I know you're most excited to see the Yankees' quest for that 28th World Championship.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
I mean, let's go. And I think they're out to prove a lot of people wrong. And, only time will tell, of course. So that's kind of our update, just kind of on a broader picture. But let's get a little in depth here in the world of the National Hockey League.
In they come. Edmonds, what a save by Vasilevsky. Are you kidding me? McAvoy, Frederick, did you get the license plate number on that truck? McDavid, beautiful move. You just knew that Connor McDavid was going to make a statement. What a goal.
All right. So a crazy action-packed weekend in the National Hockey League. And we'll get into detail about where we are, but just to kind of give a quick update here, me and Tony did go 9 games deep over the weekend, and believe it or not, we both went 4-5, so a little short, Michael, of that 8-1 mark that I was shooting for on Friday. Had some surprises mixed in there. So right now he's 28-24. I am 27-25 as that Friday deadline to get those tickets for that April 1st game against the Islanders is looming. So a lot on the line, and I will reveal them shortly. But I did text Tony, and he did give me 2 picks for tonight. So we'll get the picks going as we got 4 games tonight and as we get closer to that deadline. And just to go over the weekend, I have to say it'll be interesting to see what Tony says about this tomorrow. But the Rangers step up over the weekend. 2 marquee matchups. The first game was actually a Saturday primetime game on ABC. And I don't know if you've heard about this, Michael, but a lot of people are complaining about the camera angles that they're going with on these ESPN hockey broadcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Doing the overhead shots.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're trying to be different. Do you agree with that stuff? Like they're trying to be a trailblazer, or do you think it's just everyone's pissed off? It's just kind of a bad look.
I think it should be like a different channel.
Yeah. Like an alternate broadcast.
Yeah, like ESPN4.
Yeah.
know,
Tony said that he hasn't been impressed with their broadcast. So just be interesting to see they sign this big contract with the NHL this year, getting back in the mix after a long layoff. If they're gonna kind of tune things up. They actually asked Rick and Dave about it this morning, and Rick said he's fine with it. Dave hates it. It was funny. Dave was calling Rick a company man because he said he's fine with it, but he could see where a lot of people are complaining to him, people that he knows, and he thinks they're just kind of trying out stuff this year, and they'll have a really defined broadcast come next season. So
yeah, I'm sure.
I just thought that was kind of interesting. So I mentioned the two games. So the first one against the Lightning, a 2-1 victory. Zibanejad, the game-winning goal with 16 seconds left. And obviously this game, of course, a 2-1 game, obviously a big part of it is the tenders, like me and Tony always talk about. Who's in net? So this was a Vasilevsky versus Shesterkin special. Shesterkin, nearly flawless game, saving 28 of 29 shots. So he obviously gets another W here. I mentioned Zibanejad scored the earlier goal by Trouba. So, one of these things where, me and Tony have gone back and forth just about, do the Rangers, have enough offense here to potentially go to a Stanley Cup, win a Stanley Cup. You look at 2 goals, you're not impressed with it, but the fact that you're going against Vasilevsky, one of the best goaltenders in the league, you'll take a win. 2 goals is more than enough here when you have, your guy Shesterkin in net, really playing up to the best of his ability. So I thought that was a great win for the Rangers. And then they had to turn around yesterday, face another one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, the Carolina Hurricanes, and they come out, they win this game, a game where I think they were plus 180 on the money line. Tony had him in the pick 'em. I had them the day before at the Lightning. But another 2-0 game, and Georgiev was in goal, not Shesterkin. Georgiev with 44 saves, really, no pun intended, saving the day for the Rangers. And how about Chris Kreider? Another goal, his 41st goal, and newly acquired former Florida Panther Frank Vetrano with his 11th goal on the assist from Zibanejad. And this was a game where there was a scoreless first period. The Rangers add 1 in the second, 1 in the third, respectively, and get the W here to move their record to 22 games over 500, 40, 18, and 5. And I could not be more impressed with the Rangers on these 2 games. These are 2 huge games, and me and Tony have been talking about all season what they're going to do down the stretch. So I just thought it was huge picking up those 2 wins, those 4 points, and just getting an updated look in terms of the standings here. So you look at conference standings. Let me just pull this up 1 second. So right now, actually, they've moved up in a tie with the Penguins for 3rd. So right now it goes Florida with 90, Carolina with 88, and then the Rangers and Penguins respectively tied at 85. And that win over the Lightning on Saturday moves them 1 point ahead as they're behind in 84, Maple Leafs with 83. So a very congested top of the Eastern Conference standings here. And if the season were to end today, it would be Rangers, Maple Leafs. So what a first-round matchup that would be, just to see, the offensive prowess of Austin Matthews, of John Tavares, the former New York Islander, going up against Shesterkin, Fox on defense, and, of course, Kreider and Zibanejad on offense. So that would be quite the series. And right now, with that win over Carolina, 3 points behind them. So you never know. It would take quite the run, but they could find themselves in possibly 2nd place if everything falls right. But of course, a lot of time left here. And who knows, they made the trade for Vetrano, but there could be more moves on the horizon. So time will tell, where the New York Rangers will find themselves come playoff time. But you hope that they get a favorable matchup. And just looking at the schedule coming up here, their next game is going to be against the New Jersey Devils. So that's going to be tomorrow at the Prudential Center. That's a 7:00 game, on MSG. So that's a game, road game or not. And obviously, Devils, of course, are always going to be somewhat of a rival here, but something that you would not expect them to have trouble with. And you'd expect Shesterkin to be in goal with the next two days off before they face Pittsburgh and then Buffalo and then Pittsburgh again. And then in Detroit before they return home for that game that we'll be at against the Islanders on April 1st. So a lot of local teams that they're going to be playing upcoming, but you just love the way they're playing. And it seems like they've really rebounded after that 1-0 loss against Pittsburgh and then 5-2 at home against Vancouver. They just have not looked back since then, other than those blips, on the road, always going to be a tough spot against Minnesota, against St. Louis. I just like what they're doing. I think they've showed a lot of resiliency. So it'll be nice. You rest up, get your guy Shesterkin back in net. You have a game against the Devils, and then you go to Pittsburgh. So I have not heard anything in terms of, who they're going to, if there's anybody else that they're possibly interested in. I mean, I had mentioned about picking up another goaltender, but you get 44 saves out of Georgiev. And that would, lead you to believe that at the moment, they're kind of probably all set. And just kind of go with what they have, but obviously anything else that comes our way, we'll definitely keep you posted. And I did mention that Tony had given me his picks for tonight, and like I said, after the 9 games this weekend, Tony 28-24, I'm 27-25, so 1 game back, 2 games tonight. So his first pick, just take a look here. Going with a pick that we've seen him before, taking the Bruins. Also, I've mentioned that seems to be his second favorite team, but hard to blame him. -240 here against the Canadiens. And I know it's in Canada, but I do agree with Tony on this one. I think that's an outstanding pick on his part. You gotta take the Bruins here. I mean, the Canadiens 17-36 this year. So I'd expect them to come away with a vengeance too. And then his other pick, a team that he likes, a team that just made a trade. I don't think he'll be in net tonight, but the Wild, like we mentioned, picking up Fleury. They are hosting the scuffling Golden Knights here. Right now, they are -180 favorites against them, hosting them. Total set at 6.5. So, they've kind of struggled on offense of recent. So I would expect the Wild here to have no trouble at home. And Kaprizov, on the season, 32 goals, 44 assists, really at the center of the action in terms of their offense this year. So hard to blame Tony there. And I'm going to just mark these down on the Google Docs just so we have them in place. Bruins and the Wild. And then I got 2 games left. So you look at this, 2 teams that I've really been interested in as this season is going on. Obviously, Rangers are my top choice, but 2 teams that I've talked about a lot. The Oilers traveling to Colorado to face the Avalanche. And you look at this game, I mean, the Avalanche are -200 favorites, which, you come into a game where you're 31 games over 500, no matter who the opponent is, you expect to be a heavy favorite. But, the Oilers have had a tale of 3 or 4 seasons, before they got Kane, after they've gotten Kane, and just the offensive droughts that they've gone through or the questionable, goaltending that they've gotten. But it seems like they really have recently have kind of stabilized as they're now 3rd in the Pacific Division. And you look at just in terms of, win-loss here, they come into this game winners of 5 in a row after losing their previous 3 games. And they've beaten some good teams, Washington, Tampa Bay. Even Detroit has had their moments this year. Buffalo, New Jersey, not as much, but of course, a lot tougher matchup here against the Colorado Avalanche. The prohibitive favorite to definitely come out of the Western Conference, if not win the entire thing here. So looking at this, and despite the fact that you take a look at their record and that they've, won 3 out of 5, and but if you also look at it over their past, let's see, so they have 4 losses, 4 wins, so 4-4 over their last 8. So that's kind of, even playing here. But I just think completely different level than the Oilers, despite their good run of recent. I think this is an easy game for Colorado at home. The fans are going to be fired up, and I think there'll be a lot in attendance here, going against Edmonton. Everybody wants to see McDavid. Everybody wants to see Draisaitl, and I'm sure they're curious, to see Evander Kane as well. But I'm going to say this is going to be a 4-2 game. I think Kadri will have a goal and 3 assists, getting his teammates involved. And you might see a goal apiece from Draisaitl and McDavid, but not enough. So actually, probably my most popular pick here, I'm going to go Avalanche number 1. And then the only other game we got on the slate tonight, Nashville and Anaheim. And it's funny, me and Tony always talk about how the Predators always do me in. And of course, over the weekend, they do defeat the Maple Leafs, one of my 5 losses on the weekend. So, as much as I've liked this Anaheim Ducks team more early in the season, they've really scuffled of late. And, we've talked about Terry many times before. You got Gibson in net, but I'm just not a believer in them at this point. And I think Nashville has shown, you look at the Ducks, they've lost their last 5. Nashville has won 3 out of 4. So I just like the momentum in this one. Anaheim dealing with 2 injuries, Jones and Vakinen, both on IR. So give me Nashville here on the road. You look at it, they're minus 175. So I'm going to say, road games are tough, but they just have more than they need. So I'm going to say 5-3. We'll see the Nashville Predators defeat the Anaheim Ducks. I think Jose will have I'm gonna call it 3 assists and maybe 2 goals to Philip Forsberg, who's had a nice year, 33 goals. So give me the Predators as my number 2 pick here, and we are just getting right down to the wire. It really is unbelievable how back and forth this has been between me and Tony. I mean, 52 selections to be separated by 1 game is unbelievable. So it'll be really interesting to see where we stand on Friday. And of course, I'm looking to pick up a game here. So I would hope to go 2-0. And then if Tony goes 1-1, we'll be all tied up. But obviously, time will tell, just as far as that's concerned. But I think it's going to be fun. I can't wait to go to a game. We've been talking about it for a long time. So it'll be nice to finally be able to, get to do that. And perfect timing, too, going on the first opening day for baseball on the 7th. So it's getting it in right before. And what an exciting time it'll be as, simultaneously we'll have the start of the baseball season going on and the hockey playoffs sooner than later. So that'll be a lot of fun. Update from the Yankees here. We're bottom 5, 2 outs, up 4-0. And actually, one of our favorites from last season, Michael King, just delivered a scoreless inning. Michael, did you almost forget about Michael King?
Never. Never. I'm not Tony.
No, the funniest thing is I remember Tony tweeted out this GIF. It was of Michael King on the mound, doing the head turn and stuff. Too funny. So can't wait for the baseball season. And just one more topic we got to get here. We haven't gone to it in a while. Let's go to the world of the National Basketball Association.
The Bulls go! LeBron James at the buzzer! He banks in the 3! And the Lakers win the game!
All right. So just to kind of give a recap here of where we stand. And we were talking about it before the show. Really just if you could kind of just update the fans here. What exactly happened last night in the Knicks loss to the Jazz, Randall, Gobert? I mean, how did you see it? How did it escalate? What happened?
I guess the whole night they were going back and forth. And then at the they lost and he's a big baby. And then Gobert was actually trying to just be good game.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wasn't having it, and it started the whole thing.
And I mean, do you blame it on Randall, or do you see how
I mean, he's annoying, I'm sure, to play against Gobert.
But it's Randall's a baby, though, is basically what you're saying. He just cannot accept losing, pretty much is where you kind of fall with that.
He doesn't know how to lose.
Yeah. Even though he's doing
not a winner.
This year. He's not having any trouble. Isn't it ironic though, as we stand here, and for most teams, and if we look at just the Knicks and the Lakers, 71 games into the season, so only 11 games before we get to playoffs. Identical records. You got the Knicks right now in 12th, 5 games behind 10th, so it looks like they'll miss out on the playoffs most likely. The Lakers are right now 2.5 games up on the Spurs. Actually, in really a dead tie with the Pelicans, but the Pelicans have the better head-to-head record, so right now they're ahead of the Lakers here, but just the fact that they would both be 11 games under 500 at this point. I mean, are you surprised more with the Lakers than the Knicks, or you're kind of equally surprised in a way?
Lakers.
Yeah, just because of talent of the team. And then it's funny that when AD first got injured, only 2 to 4 weeks, and it's been 2 months. You knew it. You knew it. Why even go out and say that in the first place?
I know. It was bad, dude.
And it's just kind of funny. Tonight, the Lakers are in action against the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. Do you think there's any kind of conversations behind the scenes with LeBron, the brass from the Cavs, or have those conversations already started? I mean, I know you've been kind of big on that, Michael.
Where, to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you think it's like you would almost guarantee it at this point. He's suiting up at the Quicken Loans Arena opening night next year.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be crazy. A third tour in Cleveland for LeBron. I mean, that would be something. I mean, he just has to be frustrated because, end of his career especially, he's looking to really go out on a high note. And the fact that he pairs with a guy like Anthony Davis, under 30 years old, and it's like he's missing more games than LeBron, who's, 10 years older than him. I mean, it's just all the mileage. It doesn't matter. He's an Adonis. And I think, we've talked about it before. It just speaks to, the level of effort of conditioning when it comes to Anthony Davis. I just don't think it's quite there enough. And I think that's why he finds himself in this situation. I know you could say, oh, it's just bad luck, but it's just like, why is it always you? How has LeBron not had bad luck in 19 years in the NBA? So I think it's a little more than that. And it's just amazing what LeBron's doing as, at this point, sure, he'd like to be in the play-in game, but it's like, after losing to the Wizards on Saturday, the Wizards of all teams, and he had 38, 10, and 6, 36 points the game before in a win against Toronto in overtime. And it's like he's doing everything he can, but he really would like to get that scoring title this season. I think it would be a big accomplishment. 19th year in the league, winning a scoring title. I don't know. Would it be the oldest person to win a scoring title as far as you know, Michael?
I think so.
37. But right now, actually, I guess, I don't know. I'm sure there's a percentage point difference, but I'm guessing Embiid is percentage points ahead of LeBron, who is percentage points ahead of Giannis. I don't remember this late in the season it being that tight.
There was one with like T-Mac and AI.
I kind of remember that, actually.
That one was insane.
Yeah.
And there was one with Durant and Melo that was really insane.
Damn, like those just thinking back to basketball 15 years ago, 10 years ago, it's a completely different world.
I know.
But hey, I mean, we got to live with what we have here now. I think the playoffs will definitely be exciting. Isn't it crazy that Ben Simmons still hasn't played for Philadelphia?
He's soft.
Do you think he plays this season?
I don't know.
They're having a back injury. Like, do you buy the back injury?
Apparently, he got a shot of epidural or whatever it is.
Made it worse.
I don't know.
Oh my god. I thought he would have debuted weeks ago.
I know.
Really is just crazy. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where the dominoes fall. And, I hope it's a good game against the Cavs tonight. I don't know. I could see the Lakers losing by 20, but you know what? We haven't done it in a while, Michael. Let's just give it a little frenzy rundown, if you would.
I will. And Jordan was the oldest at 35.
Okay. So, yeah, he's obviously has that circle on his calendar for sure.
All right. So we'll go with New Orleans versus Charlotte.
All right. So New Orleans versus Charlotte. Hornets really have struggled the second half of this season. Hard for me looking at that. That being said, I just think they are a better team than the Pelicans. McCollum has looked nice, nevertheless, while he's there. But I think LaMelo at home, and you saw the video I sent you over the weekend with LaMelo and the moves, the similarities, Michael.
Oh, dude, love it.
I mean, you were fired up.
So fired up. I'm going to Charlotte too, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. You're going Charlotte over New Orleans or New Orleans over Charlotte?
No, I'm kidding. I'm going to go Charlotte. I'm going to say, no, it's funny when you said that. I thought you said you were going actually to Charlotte.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
But let's say no defense. Hornets 135, Pelicans 127, LaMelo 44 and 14.
All right, let's do the next game. You already said Lakers, Cleveland. Who do you got? This official.
Cavs, I'm going to say 125, Lakers 115, but LeBron has 40, 10, and 7.
All right, I'm going to go Cleveland. The rookie, Mobley, dunks on LeBron.
It's amazing what he's doing this
points
year.
At him and says, come join me, old fella. With Bronny.
And with Kevin Love.
I know, reunion.
Yeah.
Portland and Detroit.
Cunningham, I think he scored 20 in like 7 or 8 games in a row. We mentioned the Sadiq Bey game on Friday, the 51 points. I think it was on Thursday. Portland, I mean, geez, no Dame. Obviously trading away CJ. I guess despite Portland having 7 more wins, I like Detroit here. 9-point favorites for Detroit, which is kind of crazy. But give me Cunningham, another 20-point game, maybe 10 assists, 5 boards in a Pistons 95-83 in a very ugly game, representing like 1991 basketball.
Yeah, I'm going Cade Cunningham, 40-point triple-double, Detroit. Miami versus Philly, great game.
Great game. Miami getting 4 points. Favorites on the road here. Kind of curious as to why that is. I mean, obviously they have a better record. And Philly's been consistent. I just wanted to check here. So, Embiid's out. Did you hear about that? I don't know.
I did not.
I just want to take a look at the notes here real quick. Okay, I guess his back's bothering him. I mean, he's played a lot of games this year, so obviously I get that. So, Embiid out. I mean, it's not even a question. Harden is not going to play hero ball in a win. I'm going to say Miami 115, Sixers 89. I don't even think they show up tonight.
All right. Wow. I'll go with that. Utah and Brooklyn.
Go Bears fired up after last night. And I just look at this game, and I mean the Nets without Kyrie, it's just Durant. I don't think it's enough. I think it's no defense by the Nets. I think it's Jazz 120, Nets 115. Maybe KD has 47, but just not enough as the Jazz get a victory.
Cool. Toronto and Chicago.
Chicago, kind of an up and down year. I mean, still 41-29 here. Raptors, after a terrible start, have really rebounded. Siakam has played well. I think DeRozan wants to show up his old team, though. So I'm going to say we're going to go Bulls 115, Raptors 101, and DeRozan joins the 50-point club.
Wow.
This season. Tons of 50-point games.
Tons. Washington and Houston.
Your guy, Porzingis here.
Yeah.
Doing pretty well with Washington. Houston, I mean, they've been a laughing stock since the start of last season. So despite the Wizards, I mean, not really, knocking the cover off the ball this year. Give me them. I'll say 105-89. And I think Porzingis goes for 30.
Wow. Yeah, he looks good there. Boston and OKC.
Upset special.
Wow.
I mean, you want to talk about getting value here. I would imagine, the Thunder have to be plus 290, maybe even more. Boston, 14.5-point favorites here. I mean, they've been on a tear. I never saw it coming, with the first-year head coach there and just the up and down nature, how they've been really, I mean, going back a while now, just not being able to get over the hump. But it seems like, they're for real this year. Tatum is playing out of his mind. And I just want to just double check here. It looks like Gilgeous-Alexander is day to day. Questionable. Okay, so this is with a caveat saying that he will play. I think it's like a Utah Jazz Tony overlooked the situation. So let's say Shai is in the lineup. I think he is going to go for 45 points, 17 assists, and just carving up the Celtics defense, doing tomahawk slams down the court here. And I think the Thunder get the victory. Call it 125 to 117, catching the Celtics sleeping at home.
All right. Last game, Minnesota and Dallas.
Minnesota and Dallas. You look at these two teams, pretty respectable in terms of what they've done this season, especially Minnesota. I mean, they've been a loser for the past 20 years, really. I mean, that one season that Jimmy got him into the playoffs with Tibbs, ironically enough. Dallas, with Luka, sure, great regular season team come playoff time. It's been a different story, but maybe, with Dinwiddie in instead of Porzingis, maybe they have success here. But, look at Dallas here, 2-point favorites. But I just think, honestly, I don't know about you, but just from a pure talent and depth of the roster, I think Minnesota is actually just a better team. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, you have the better player in Luka, but I just think the combination of Anthony Edwards, of Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, it's a lot to handle, and I feel like Luka's kind of doing a lot by himself. And I like Dinwiddie, but I think on a really good team, Dinwiddie's a fourth option, maybe a light three.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's just the biggest problem here. And I like what D'Angelo Russell has done for the Wolves as well this year. So I think we're going to get a high-scoring game. Give me the Timberwolves 137, Dallas 130.
Love it. Cool. That's our frenzy.
That indeed is our frenzy. And really, we're really getting down to the wire here. I mean, only 11 games to go. So just going to be interesting to see who falls where. And for my sake, just, of course, listen, I mean, the Lakers, AD coming back or not, of course, I'm not expecting them to do anything. However, it would just be nice to see LeBron in another playoffs. I mean, it'd be really quite the shame if he, misses out in the playoffs 2 out of 4 years here. And really, other than that, I mean, over the weekend, we did have the Valspar. Sam Burns goes back-to-back in a playoff, defeating Davis Riley 17 under par, so he wins the Valspar. And then this week, we get the Match Play Championship. That'll start on Wednesday in Austin, Texas. So always interesting, how they do that. Everything's stroke play, but that's kind of a heads-up format, which I love. I think it really, just keeps the interest high. They refer to it as the WGC Dell Technology Match Play. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And then the following week is finally here. Augusta National, the Masters. We'll have a big show for that. I know Michael's already researching, getting the data together, who the pick is going to be. And what do you get more excited for? Like, kind of, I guess it really could be in any sport, but just newcomers winning big things, like whether it's championships or tournaments, or like seeing someone add hardware to the collection and develop that legacy even further. We'll get you going more.
I guess it depends who it is, but I guess the new guys.
Yeah, you kind of root to see, because I do think it's weird. I almost feel like in every sport, in its entirety right now, it's the hardest for the new guy to break through and become that legend that has the 4, the 5, the 6 championships, the 10 majors. Like, I think there's more competition now more than there ever has been.
Oh, hell yeah. 100%.
So that's just kind of interesting. And, I mean, we'll see, we got time, but I just am feeling he just always steps up on the big stage. And while, of course, you could look at this and say, Justin Thomas, he's due for another major, I just feel like Colin Morikawa is meant for Augusta National. And I wish Tiger was playing, but it's just like all signs, don't really point to that at the moment. So I'm almost to the thought process now, and I know I'm kind of really doing a complete 360 here, but I'm almost thinking, he's gonna just chill until that father-son tournament in Orlando next year. Did it this year, and I just think, he wants to really be his best when he finally comes back. So we got time. Time will tell. And we'll see what happens. Of course, we got 4-0 Yankees still, bottom 6. Looks like 2 on and 1 out as the Yankees at George Steinbrenner Field here go for their first win of the spring. Michael King is up to 2 scoreless innings, so nice to see that. And just taking a look here in terms of 5 hits today. I guess Hicks had an RBI, so it'd be interesting to see if he's healthy. But hey, opening day around the corner. Baseball previews coming up soon. Hockey getting to the playoffs. NBA getting to the playoffs. March Madness starting on Thursday. Sweet 16 games. I mean, there really could not be a more action-packed time of the year. Down the road, we got the NFL draft. We'll be doing mock, drafts for that. We've been working on the sound bites since last year's show.
Yes.
So that's really, what's on the mind at the moment. Any boxing coming up? I haven't heard any boxing news out of you from in months.
Nothing.
Michael. Months.
There's nothing.
But Covington's calling out Usman, or is that?
Yeah.
But wouldn't Usman just crack him or no?
Yeah.
Do you think it would be?
You know who fought this weekend?
Who?
Eddie Hearn and the Mountain. Remember Tony was talking about it?
Okay.
I watched highlights of it.
How was the match?
It was very unorthodox.
Really?
Boxing, but but they fought. They actually fought. It looked like they were bleeding and stuff.
Yeah.
It was better than the Jake Paul fights and stuff. It wasn't like that.
Yeah. So
at least they were like taking the hits.
It's something you could respect.
Yeah, I think so. They're just too big and slow, dude.
So hopefully we'll get some more action coming up soon. McGregor's due to get in the ring, no?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I what are you honestly expecting? Like, I know obviously it depends on the opponent, but do you feel like he has another win in him?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he's like so tight? You think he actually cares this time? Because it seems like before he just cared about promoting, his tequila company or whatever it is.
I don't know. He looks pretty heavy though.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen him?
No.
Not like he's just like too jacked.
I actually am excited to see this. Oh yeah! Wow. You think he's been going heavy with what's the thing that he promotes? Irish whiskey.
Oh yeah, it's his Irish whiskey. It's not Tell Him What to Do.
No, I think it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Tell Him What to Do.
No, because Rick and Dave always have to read that promo on their show.
Irish whiskey. Proper 12.
Oh, Proper 12. Proper 12. Oh my God. Dude, it's so funny though. I've really been like during commercials, I'll switch to something else, but like on my drive into work, always going with Rick and Dave.
Yeah, dude, they're the best every morning.
Did it happen in Florida? I feel like more times than not, it doesn't happen in Florida.
What's that?
You never heard that segment that they do?
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I always get a good kick out of that. Do you like their producer, Santi?
He's all right. He's kind of a chief.
No, I know. He
comes in.
And Dave.
Yeah. I like Ty.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that show with them.
No. Oh, he just does the Saturday show.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's funny.
But yeah, just thought that was funny. But yeah,
good show, dude. That was
great show. Always a great 1-2 punch. But obviously, we'll get Tony back here tomorrow. We're getting close. Can't believe we're only separated by 1 game. So hopefully, some good news on my end tonight. We'll see. But we got Yankees baseball in progress. Obviously, a bunch of NBA games tonight. The 4 NHL. And just the crazy world of sports, as well as just a beautiful day out. So hopefully everybody enjoys that, keeps commenting, liking, subscribing, gets the merch at downtimetv.com, checks out the YouTube page. And other than that, we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love